This is a question on trigonometric function graph, and we're told to copy and complete the table of values for y is 2 cos x plus 3 sin x for 0 is less than or equal to x, which is less than or equal to 360 degrees. Now, you can do it piecewise to try and fill in the table, okay, by using the calculator. You can say you want to evaluate, okay, like here, y. To get y, you press alpha, and where we have y in red, okay, is equal to 2 cos x plus 3 sin x. Okay. Now you can ask the calculator, you can just verify, then ask the calculator to calculate for you by pressing the calculator function. Then what's the value of x? 0. Okay. So we can see that y is 2 when x is 0. Again, you can say calculate when x is 60, and notice we are working in degrees. Now it's giving us in surd. Just press this to translate to decimal, surd to decimal. So this is 3.598. Okay, but because we are in the table that was plotted for us, it was done in 1 decimal place, so we can round that up to 1 decimal place. Or when x is 120, put that in decimal, y will be 1.6. When we round up 1.598 to 1 decimal place, that will be 1.6. You can just continue like that, but as a rule of thumb, generally, I advise students that you don't need to be calculating piecewise like this. It is better for you to actually use the table. The FS911ES has a function of generating a table automatically for you, and that will limit the error that could have been generated. So if you go to mode, then 7 for table, you can find the function of x. Now our function of x is y here. You can say it is 2 cos x plus 3 sin x. That x is alpha bracket. Okay. So what's the start value? We want to start from 0. What's the end value? We want to end at 360. Okay. Then what's the incremental value? What's the step? It is being taken in steps of 60 degrees. So with this, the calculator automatically generates our table for us for the value of x and the function of x. And you can see the first entry is 0, y is 2, the second one 60, y is 3.6, and on like that. Now, down to the last entry, 360. You can see for 240, we have minus 3.6. So this is quite accurate. And on the go, you get all the values. It will limit the mistake that can be done. So once you have generated your table, you can just fill in the table. And for example, when s is 360, it is 2. That's already a complete circle. In degrees, 360 and 0 are actually the same thing. So this is 2.0. So with that, we are through with our table that we are asked to complete. So we are to use this table to now plot our graph. But on the graph, we are to use 2 centimeters to 60 degrees on the x-axis and 2 centimeters to 1 unit on the y-axis. So no problem. They've given us the scale. We don't have any problem with that. So here, already we generated our table. This is the table of values for the equation y is equal to 2 cos x. That's 2 cos x plus 3 sin x. Okay, that's what we generated previously. Now we want to plot the graph for that particular equation, graph of the function y is equal to 2 cos x plus 3 sin x. We've been given the scale to use, but we need to see the distribution of our axes. Now, for example, on the x-axis, we don't have any negative value for the value for the x. Okay, the degrees are all in positive range, so we need to move our vertical axis towards the left so that we can cater for all the positive values of x. But for y, we have negative and positive values. We have plus 3.6 as the highest value. We have minus 3.6 as the lowest value. So we need to scale that evenly above and below the horizontal axis. So using the scale that we are giving, 2 centimeters to represent 1 unit on the y-axis, then 2 centimeters to represent 60 degrees on the x-axis. This is what our graph layout is going to look like. And the scale is that 2 centimeters represents 1 unit on the y-axis, while 2 centimeters represent 60 degrees on the x-axis. So with this, we can go ahead to use the values that we have in our table to plot our graph. Like in the first case, when x is 0, y is 2. So x is 0 degrees, y is 2. That's being shown in blue. That's y 2. When x is 60 degrees, y is 3.6. So for us to have 2 to 3 in these divisions and there are only 5 boxes, that means each of the boxes is going to take 0.2 units. So 2, 2.2 and co. So 3.6 is going to be here. Okay. And then we have 60 degrees and 3.6. Their point of intersection is going to take our second entry. So we have 60 degrees and 3.6. Then when x is 120 degrees, y is 1.6. When x is 180 degrees, y is minus 2. That's shown in the cross, and I'm just dotting it out now. When x is 240 degrees, y is minus 3.6. That's here. Okay, where the meet is here. So this is 3.6. When x is 300 degrees, y is minus 1.6. Okay, that's located here. Okay, so when x is 360 degrees, y is 2. So we can go again up, and that completes the cycle. Okay, it's a complete cycle, 0 and 360 degrees. That's a complete cycle. Now, looking at all these dots, because we know that is a trigonometric function, we know it's going to be sinusoidal. So we are going to join them sinusoidally. So again, students, it's best that you make use of your French curve or a broomstick to link all these points. But because I don't have that, I will make do with a freehand sketch. And I think this is a good representation of what the graph can actually look like. And with that, we have drawn the graph, we have plotted the graph of y is equal to 2 cos x plus 3 sin x. Okay, so now on the third question, we're asked to solve the equation from the graph. We have to use the graph to solve the equation 2 cos x plus 3 sin x is equal to minus 1. Now, if you take this equation we're given and we are to compare with the equation we've been working with, that is 2 cos x plus 3 sin x is equal to y. If you compare the two, you can see that the left-hand side are equal. That means the right-hand side, they are also equal. So y is equal to minus 1. Now, in graph, what does y is equal to minus 1? What does it translate to? That translates to the fact that we need to locate minus 1 on y and draw a straight line, because this is actually a straight line graph. When they say y is minus 1, y is actually constant with that. So what we plotted initially is the graph of y is 2 cos x plus 3 sin x. That is the value of y. That's sinusoidal. But now we are saying that y is a constant. Y is minus 1. So we just go to the point where we have minus 1 on y. And here, y is minus 1 does not depend on x at all. You can see x is not being shown there. It's just a constant. Constant for all values of x. So we just plot a straight line graph on minus 1. So this is the graph for y is equal to minus 1. Okay? The line shown in blue, this is y is equal to minus 1. Alright? So now, once we have that, now appropriately we should label that. Like I labeled the red, you also label the blue, that this is y is minus 1. Now, what is the solution to that? We just need to trace from the point of intersection of the sinusoidal curve and the straight line and trace to the x-axis to find the solution for our equation that we are looking for. Now, in the box, we have 0 to 60, taking 5 box 6. So each of the box is going to be 60 divided by 5, which is 12. So this graph on the x-axis is an incremental of 12. So we want to start from 120. We have 120 plus 12, 132 plus 12. That will be 144 plus 12. That will be 146. Okay, and then plus 12, we can see that will be 168, but our intersection here is in between 146 and 158. So if we are to take the mid value of that, we know that we'll get the solution for the first one. And the second one, we can see that it's just a small increment of 1 box after 300. So it will be 300 plus 12, which will be 312. You need to understand this analysis. If 0 to 60 is 5 box 6, that means that each of the boxes is 60 over 5, which is 12. So the incremental value is 12 per small boxes. So here we now have that the solution, as we have traced from the line y is equal to minus 1, which is shown in blue, to the sinusoidal curve, is giving us the solution to this equation 2 cos x plus 3 sin x is equal to minus 1 to be x is equal to 162 degrees and x is equal to 312 degrees. That is the solution to this particular equation that we're asked to find using the graph that we are given. All right. Okay, so with that, we can now go to the last question that we are given. Now, make it a point of duty to show the equation, like for the red, the one I'm showing here, which you will show in pencil, you can say it is y equals to 2 cos x plus 3 sin x. For the one shown in blue, you write y is equal to minus 1. Okay, that will hand you your full mark. But because I'm just using this, I don't want it to be clustered so that you don't see what I'm doing. That's why I'm just omitting it. So now in the question 2, when x is 342 degrees, we're asked to find the value of y. So what we need to do is to locate the point 342. Now we have 312. After 312, 312 plus 12, that will be 324, plus another 12, that will be 336, plus another 12, that will be 342. So that's just the small box before 360 degrees. So now, in between the two, in between 336 and 348, we are going to have 342 degrees. And that's what we need to trace. Okay, so here is 342 degrees. So if we are to trace it up to our sinusoidal curve, okay, so what's the value on the y-axis? That value is 1. So we just need to, from our graph anyway, now I will always advise, even after getting this on the graph, confirm by calculating manually. In this case, I'm going to use the calculator, but from the graph, I can see that when x is 342 degrees, y is 1.0 degrees. We are working in one decimal place. So if you are to use your calculator, just say that 2 cos x plus 3 sin x, and now we want to solve for that. What will it be? Our x is now 342, and you can see this is 0.97, which is approximately 1. So we're on the right track. Our solution is 1. And with that, we have finished our question on this graph of trigonometric function. All right. A woman bought 130 kilogram of tomatoes for 52,000 naira. She sold half of the tomatoes as a profit of 30%. The rest of the tomatoes began to go bad. She then reduced the selling price per kilogram by 12%. We have to calculate the new selling price per kilogram after she had reduced the selling price by 12%. Now, in the first question, we need to be able to interpret this very well, otherwise we will get it wrong. Now, in the first question, in the first case, we are told that the total cost price for the 130 kilogram of tomatoes is 52,000 naira. That's the first statement that we are giving. Now, we are told that she now sold half of the tomatoes at a profit of 30%. If you want to take out that half that was sold at a profit of 30%, for that half, the cost price will be half of 52,000 naira. Okay? Cost price for that half that was sold at 52,000 naira will be half, because it is half. So that's half of 2,000 naira, and that will be 26,000 naira. So first we are talking with half of 130, which is 65 kilograms. So the cost price for that half is 26,000 naira. Now for us to get the selling price for that was reduced by 12%, okay? For us to get the selling price for this particular half that was sold at 26,000 naira, we can use the formula for percentage profit, which is selling price minus cost price over cost price times 100. We want to get the selling price. We have been given the percentage profit. That percentage profit was given as 30%, okay? So it's selling price which you are looking for minus the cost price. The cost price is 26,000 naira. Okay, divided by the cost price, 26,000 naira, for the half that was sold at the profit of 30%. So if we just cut out our zeros here, what we are going to be left with is we are going to have it that the selling price minus 26,000 is equal to 30 times 260 naira. Okay, so that means that selling price minus 26,000 naira is equal to what's 30 times 260? Our calculator, 30 times 260. 30 times 260, that's 7,800. So the selling price will now be 7,800 plus that 26,000 that we have moved from the left hand side to the right hand side. So if you are to add that, that will be 33,800. So 33,800 is the price for the half that was sold at 30% profit. Please, we need to just be careful with this type of question because of the way the question is coming. So this is implying that the selling price for the half, that half is half of 130 kilogram. Okay, that's a 65 kilogram of the tomatoes. The selling price for 65 kilogram of the tomatoes, okay, at 30% profit is 33,800 naira. That's the selling price for 65 kilogram of tomatoes at 30% profit. So now that's the first thing that we are getting. But moving forward, we are now told that the rest of the tomatoes were sold moving forward, we are told that the rest of the tomatoes began to go bad. So she reduced the selling price per kilogram by 12%. Okay? She reduced. Let's look at this language critically. The selling price per kilogram by 12%. We're now being asked to find the new selling price per kilogram. So it's not the case of the half that she has sold that we are concerned about. We're now looking at the new selling price, which we are told that is a 12% reduction from the initial selling price that we just calculated. Okay, so that new selling price is 12% reduction on the above initial selling price. So that will be, again, we just need to be careful here. We are told that it's 12% reduction. The reduction makes it quite interesting. Okay, the reduction is making it quite interesting. Reduction means we are reducing from a whole. The whole is 100%. Reduction is by 12%. So we have 100 minus 12% of 33,800 naira. So 100 minus 12% is 100 minus 12 over 100 multiplied by 33,800 naira. So if you are to evaluate that, 100 minus 12 is 88. So we have 88 over 100 times 33,800 naira. So we can cut such that this should be 88 times 338 naira. So 338, 88 times 338. That's 29,744 naira. So the new selling price for the remaining half that have been reduced by 12% reduction, okay, is what we just got. But we have to find the new selling price per kilogram. And that is where this question is just technical. Look at the steps that we need to take by taking heed of the instruction that we are given. So what we got initially was for 65 kilogram of the tomatoes. So this amount is 29,744 naira for the other 65 kilogram that was going bad. Okay? So now we have to find the price per kilogram, not for the 65 kilogram tomatoes, is per kilogram. So the new selling price now per kilogram will be this amount that we have gotten divided by 65. That will be 29,744 naira over 65. Because this is the amount for 65 kilogram. So for each kilogram will be that amount divided by 65. And that will give us 457 naira 76 kobo. Okay. So that will be 457 naira 60 kobo. So this is the new selling price per kilogram for the tomatoes. So moving on to our next question now, we can look that we're now being asked to find the percentage profit on the entire sales if she threw away 5 kilogram of bad tomatoes. Okay, the percentage profit on the entire sales if she threw away 5 kilogram. So 5 kilogram will be taken out. Okay, then we have to look at the entire sales. Okay, that's quite. Let's look at how we can solve for that. Now we are seeing that initially we got the selling price for the initial half of 130 kilogram that she sold. Now we also have the selling price for the other half that was getting bad, but she had thrown away 5 kilogram of bad tomatoes out of 130 kilograms of tomatoes. So that means if you threw away 5 kilograms of the bad tomatoes, then the quantity of bad tomatoes that was left will now be 60 kilograms. Okay, because initially it was 130 kilograms, 65 were good, 65 were bad. Okay, so now the quantity of bad tomatoes she sold after throwing away 5 kilograms will be 65 kilograms minus 5 kilograms. That's 60 kilograms of tomatoes that are sold at 457.60 kobo per kilogram. We need to know that these 60 kilograms that are bad, each kilogram is sold at 457 naira 60 kobo. Okay, so the total selling price was the price that she sold the good ones. So that will be selling price of the good 65 kilogram tomatoes. Okay, plus, because it was splitted into half, plus the selling price for the bad. Now it's not 65 now, it's 60 because she had thrown away 5 kilograms. So if you get the understanding of this analogy, then we can go ahead to solve for the total percentage profit of what she got. We have good 65 kilogram and bad 60 kilogram. 5 kilogram have been thrown away. So now, if we want to find that, we have found the selling price for the good 65 kilogram initially as 33,800. Okay, then the selling price for the bad 60 kilogram tomatoes will be 60 kilograms multiplied by the price per kilogram, because like initially from where we are coming from, the quantity of bad tomatoes she sold was sold at 457 naira 60 kobo per kilogram. Okay, that's the amount she sold them per kilogram. So now the selling price of the whole 60 will be 60 multiplied by the amount per kilogram, which is 457.60. So this will now amount to, just for us to evaluate this will be 33,800 plus what 60 times our answer, which is 457.6. Okay, that's 27,400 456 naira. Okay, so if we add the two, we add that to 33,800, that will give us 61,256 naira. That's 61,256 naira. So this is now our total selling price. We know our cost price initially, so we can find our percentage profit. The percentage profit is the selling price minus cost price over the cost price times 100. And for the entire sales, it will be the total selling price minus the cost price over the cost price times 100. So we've just gotten the total selling price to be 61,256 naira. Okay, minus the cost price that she used to purchase everything, that's 52,000 over that same cost price times 100. Okay, so these zeros can cancel out, and we have 61. Our answer minus 52,000, that's 9,256. 9,256 over 520, and that is equal to divided by 520. That's 17.8%. That's our percentage profit for the entire sales. Well, for this type of questions, getting to really understand the question correctly will help in solving it. Otherwise, we'll miss it. But we have shown you the step, and we hope that you can also leverage on that to solve subsequent questions on that.